What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show presented by BetUS. Today, the Blazers sit Anthony Simons with an injury and lose to the New York Knicks 105-93, begging the question, is it truly tank season as of March 14th, 2024? We're going to discuss this game. The Knicks defense stifles the Blazers, minus Deandre Ayton, because he went off again tonight. We're going to talk about that. And not only did Ayton go off, he shot 6 free throw attempts, and he made a 3. So, he had the comments last night that we actually listened to on the show talking about his haters being his motivators. And Eric, talked about, man, he needs to do a little bit more. He makes a 3 and gets to the free throw line 6 times, which I said he needed to do more. Eric, we're doing phenomenal work here at Blazers Uprise. Ayton dominating once again. And, other than that, though, 93 points on the board when Ayton goes off. Nothing to really write home about. Scoot gets the start, plays 26 minutes, struggles, has 5 fouls. He's back to fouling a ton. Dalano Banton plays 42 freaking minutes and is 6 for 20. And you got Kamara, 3 for 6. That's fine. 4 assists again tonight for him. Chris Murray actually made a couple of threes in this one, which is good to see. And then you got Higgins off the bench, Reith, Minaya. Like, that bench is really not going to put points on the board. And the Knicks have been playing phenomenal defense. And a troubling trend continues with the Knicks getting 15 offensive rebounds. They didn't shoot too well. 21% from 3 for the Knicks, 6 for 29 from 3, including a 2 for 10 from Jalen Brunson. Even though he had 45 points, he did not have it going from behind the three-point line. But when you give up 15 offensive rebounds, it's hard to keep teams below 100. And the Knicks end up taking care of business in this one. Eric, what's going on, man? How's your night going, and what are your thoughts on this game?
It's going well. I don't know. I think scoring 93 on the Knicks is an accomplishment right now. You seem to think it was low, but we're the first one to crack, 80 on them, or 90 last 3 games. Hasn't it all been in the 70s that they've held opponents to?
Yeah, so the game before this, they played the 76ers the 2 games before this, and the 76ers had 79 points in each game.
Yeah.
And then the game before that, they beat Orlando and held Orlando to 74 points.
Right, so we're better than Orlando and Philly. That's
apparently,
good.
Yeah, apparently.
But
so
they still didn't cover the 204 low under.
I know.
Over under. That's funny.
Crazy. Yeah, we picked this game.
But they covered the spread.
Yeah, we picked this game on Picks Against the Spread over on our second channel. Every Monday and Thursday we do Picks Against the Spread, and we pick BetUS spread lines. BetUS spread lines. BetUS is our sportsbook sponsor all season long. They're offering you 3 125% deposit bonuses on your first 3 deposits, which is a phenomenal promo offer. Promo offer. A lot of lines that I've recommended all season too have actually been pretty good. And chat's killing it in Picks Against the Spread, so that's a great opportunity for you guys to cash in with not 1, not 2, but 3 125% deposit matches up to $2,500, minimum $100 deposit. And they give you 10% gambler's insurance if you're active every 6 months. So if you deposit $100, they give you $125 extra dollars on top of that. And with March Madness right around the corner, I'm ready to go, Eric. I'm ready to freaking go. Selection Sundays on Sunday. I'm hyped.
Week from today is tourney day.
We got conference tournaments right now. It's been a lot of fun. Duke lost today. UConn is just looking amazing right now. And last I checked, they were plus 500 to win the tournament. I would take that in a heartbeat because they look phenomenal. Once again this year, I think they might repeat. March Madness is going to be a ton of fun. Looking forward to it. And you can get in on that action with our sign-up link in the description box below. It helps out the channel. And use that promo code JOIN125 to get those 3 125% deposit bonuses. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the post-game stream. Whew. All right. So, where do you want to start, Eric?
I think we just start with Ayton. Another fantastic game. You knew it was going to be a little tougher for him without Anthony out there. But I thought he did a really good job of just continuing to do what he's been doing.
Yep, can't ask for more from him right now. I mean, he's one of the best centers in the league in the last 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks. Just happy he turned around his season because it was looking real problematic there, and it'll be interesting to see how his play at the end of this season maybe changes the calculus in the offseason, although I think the calculus was going to be the same. They're going to try and make the team a little bit better, make the team competitive for a playing spot, and try and regain some of the viewership that they lost this season. But yeah, I mean, Ayton looks phenomenal. I have nothing but good things to say about him right now. And I mean, he shot a 3 the last 2 games. Or he didn't shoot it last game. It was like 2 games ago. Yeah,
it wasn't last game. But he
2 3-point attempts in 3 games?
50% on the season.
He's 50%. I mean, yeah, like start hitting those corner threes at least. It's a little shorter, it's a little closer to his bread and butter mid-range shot. I like it. And I like him getting to the line 6 times. Was that the most free throw attempts he's had in a game all year?
I think he had 6 in one of their game, but it's got to be pretty close. Are you looking it up?
No, I was responding in chat. I will look it up, though, because that might be a season high. Yeah, let me see here. Game logs. Nah, he had 6 free throw attempts on November 26th against Milwaukee, 4 for 6. It's his highest. It ties his highest amount of free throw attempts in a game, and it is season high in terms of free throw makes, because his high in makes was 4 multiple times. So getting to the line and shooting a 3. As we said, we're doing phenomenal work here because apparently his haters, he loves them. And apparently I was his hater earlier this year. Even though I think the criticism wasn't hate, I think it was justified. And it's because he was capable of playing like this.
To be clear also, there was some stuff going on behind the scenes with him.
Yes.
And the team was getting frustrated with him as it was told to it came out in a quick article, but we had been hearing stuff, or you had, but prior to that, so that
stuff I couldn't talk about, but I dropped hints on a post-game show. If you were in that post-game show, you know what I'm talking about.
And that was part of the equation with, not thinking he was going to amount to much because we heard it was an issue behind the scenes. So props to him for not only playing well on the court, but his off the court stuff that was going on has also seemed to have subsided. Yeah,
I mean, I was talking to Gabe the other night. Gabe, Suns fan, has dealt with Ayton for years, and I'm not going to say exactly what Gabe said, but basically his whole point was, man, Ayton's either on like the highest of highs or the lowest of lows. And that's just like not just his play, that's his mood.
Yeah.
Like he's either like he was at the post-game show yesterday because I showed him the post-game press conference because I thought you might enjoy it. And it's just he's either like in a really bad mood and it shows on the court and his effort is very lackadaisical, or he's just like on top of the world and there's no in between. And that's why he goes from, he'll have a stretch where he plays amazing to a stretch where he plays very poor basketball by his standards. And it's quite fascinating how we saw it in Phoenix. There really isn't any middle ground or consistency with him. That's why I love how he's playing. But I'm hopeful he can keep it up for longer stretches because he's had stretches like this. Maybe not quite this good. This might be the best stretch of his career, right? So I can't ask for more right now. But as I've always said, man, just got to keep it up. Got to keep playing like this. His attitude can't dip because it's just roller coaster. We got peaks and valleys. Hopefully this is a plateau. That's geography for anyone who doesn't know. So maybe it was Monty. Maybe it was Chris Paul. But that's where, okay, there's no excuse left. We'll see if he maintains it.
But what was his excuse earlier in the year when he was a problem for the team and also wasn't playing well on the court?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not Monty's fault.
Yeah. So that's the
But
thing is there was problems earlier in the year. So,
but right now, I believe the words you were looking for, Tori, is he is lit AF right now.
lit
And,
AF.
and if he continues to be lit AF, he's going to be a problem for this league because he is dominating.
Yeah. We got to keep Ayton lit AF for the rest of his tenure here, okay? We can't let that flame die out. So, well said, Eric.
Yeah, but yeah, just continue. I mean, he had some really nice rolls to the basket, some nice. That one he dunked on like a fast break. I didn't think he was going to get to the rim when he picked up his dribble, but he did. And yeah, just really nice overall offensive games, at least from Ayton.
Yep, absolutely. The mid-range jump shot continues to drop for him. I don't know if we can expect it to keep falling at the same rate it's falling at, because I don't know what he's shooting like the last 10, 15 games from mid-range, but it feels absurd.
I know. It feels like 80% or something.
It's just automatic. It's like layups for him. It's like layups. And at some point, you expect maybe him to struggle a little bit. I mean, that's a tough shot to hit. The rate he's hitting that mid-range shot at is just absurd.
But that's why we want him to shoot threes, right? Because if you can shoot even just 38% from three when he's shooting like 80% from long two, yeah, just go ahead and expand that out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there was just a couple of plays in this game, though, that were a little unique for him that I really liked. The backdoor cut on Hartenstein, the oop from Scoot, really good pass from Scoot. For as much as Scoot struggled with his shot in this game, he did have some nice passes, some nice playmaking moments, which is good to see. And, I mean, Ayton... the thing is, Ayton hits so many mid-range shots that, like, this backdoor cut, Eric... Hartenstein's overplaying him because he doesn't want to let him catch the ball in the mid-range. And most of the time, you don't really worry too much about centers catching the ball in the mid-range. It's just guys like Embiid, Jokic, right? Like, you're trying to deny him. But Ayton's freaking athletic. He has to, hit that backdoor cut. And guys got to look for him when he's being overplayed in the mid-range if he's hitting a bunch of mid-range shots. So that play was maybe my favorite from this game from him. Just seeing that he's overplayed, making eye contact with Scoot, and those guys, they probably don't make that play at the beginning of the year. That comes with chemistry, playing with each other for an extended period of time. But and then the fast break with Brunson chasing him down. Just nice that he got some dunks in this game, some putbacks. Rebounded the ball great again. I think that's kind of the one thing that's going a little bit understated given how well he's scoring the ball. But at the same time, for as well as he's rebounding, other teams are getting a ton of offensive rebounds lately.
Yeah.
I don't really know exactly how much of the blame he deserves for that. We can't just look at his rebound numbers and maybe give him credit, so maybe I shouldn't. But, it's nice to see him 15, 19, 18 rebounds. Mm-hmm. And when you're small everywhere else, it does create problems on the board. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I just been really impressed with how he's kind of changed his shot diet over the last few weeks. And he continues to, like you said, roll the basket more, cut harder. That was a beautiful lob play. That's probably outside of Ayton hitting a three, was probably my favorite play of the game was the Scoot lob to Ayton. Great pass on that one.
It's just a perfect example of him actually, cutting to the rim, rolling hard to the rim, being available.
Yep.
Early in the season, he just stands there and kind of floats at the elbow and doesn't move.
I thought so. His last basket was a goaltend. He definitely touched it in the cylinder, but I thought they were going to cover the spread on that for those that bet against the Blazers tonight. Or if you bet for the Blazers, you might have been very thankful that they had a chance. I don't know if did you see the last play of the game?
No.
So the Knicks had the ball with 35 seconds left or whatever. Brunson crosses half court. They're up 12, right? And just stands there and runs out the shot clock, turnover. And then the Blazers inbound it, and it looks like they're going to drive in, and then they just stop. And then Hagen's pump fakes on a three, and then doesn't do it, doesn't shoot. And then he dribbles, and then he ends up shooting a three at the buzzer. I don't know why he shot it, because the game was like clearly over. But if it would have went in, that would have changed a lot of money.
Stuff, yeah.
Well, not necessarily picks, just overall Vegas gambling wise. That, I could not believe he shot that shot. But he missed it. This red is covered.
That's funny, man. That would have been a bad beat for sure. But I'm just happy with how he's positioning in the post. The narrative around why Deandre Ayton has improved is only one half of it, because there's a lot of people that are just saying Ayton was always fine. He just needed to get his touches. Guys just needed to pass the ball to him, which is not the full story. A big problem, and you pointed this out at the time, we talked about this when he wasn't getting those touches.
Early in the season, yeah.
A big part of why he wasn't getting those touches was because he wasn't sealing guys in the post. If you're posting up, man, and you're trying to make yourself available, you got to get a wide base that's hard to get around. You got to get your elbows wide to block off the guy behind you poking at the ball, trying to poke away the pass, right? And you got to be physical. Ball comes to your right hand, you got to use the left side of your body to back into the guy to shield him off the ball. It's sealing in the low post. The best post-up players are very good at doing so. And Ayton just let guys fight around him constantly. He just wasn't physical. And that goes back to the entire mindset thing. He wasn't using his body driving to the rim, on rebounds, low post. He just was not playing physical in any sense of the word. And it's been a night and day difference. There was the play where Hartenstein's fronting him, and Ayton's just leaning on him and pushing him, and then gets the pass over the top, holds him off the pass. He kind of tipped it to himself, but gets a lay-in. Yeah. And it's yes, he's getting more passes thrown into the post, but at some point when you let your defender basically climb over your back or get around you and tip the pass away, guys are going to stop throwing it into you because they don't want turnovers. And they don't trust you to be able to hold that defender off the ball, so they're not going to pass it into you as much. And you can sit there and say, oh, well, they're not giving him the ball, that's why he's not scoring more points. A big part of the responsibility is on Deandre Ayton to hold that defender off the entry pass, and he's been doing a much better job of it, so he's been getting more low post touches. And that just goes apparently completely unnoticed by a lot of people that think it just happens they just happen to randomly decide to unlock Deandre Ayton and just give him the ball. No, there's more that goes into that. Yeah. And sealing is a big part of that as well. And then, it's a perfect example. That backdoor lob from Scoot, if Ayton just floats around the free throw line, the elbow denied, he's not going to get the ball in that possession.
Yep.
But he cuts back door and makes himself a target on a lob and gets a dunk. So a big part of Ayton getting touches is him doing things to make himself a good option. Because, he'll pull up from the mid-range and create his own shot that way, or maybe take a dribble off the pick and roll, but he's not really a shot creator. He has to get in the flow. If you're a guy that gets a bunch of buckets in the flow of the offense, you got to do things in the flow of the offense to make yourself available. And he's been doing a much, much better job of that, but people just completely ignore it. I guess they don't see the full picture. So, credit to Ayton, but that was something that he was not doing well early in the season, but people, I don't know, I guess they don't want to say he was playing bad earlier in the season. I don't get why. It's okay to say he was struggling and he's improved a ton. But yeah, there was a lot of little nuanced things that he could have done a lot better, and they all kind of fed back to just being more physical and being more aggressive as a presence on the court. And he's doing that, and that's all mindset related. All mindset related. It's all mental with Deandre Ayton, and we said so at the time. And this latest stretch of play just proves that.
Yeah, I don't want to bring this up because I'm trying to talk about myself, but I have a bit of a story. When I was 15, I made an Oregon All-Star team, and we went.
Here's Eric talking about his basketball again. Okay, go ahead.
we went and played in this like national AAU tournament with like every like good player at the time was there, and it was in like the Phoenix Tempe area, and so I had like several baskets in the post, right? Like every time I got the ball in the post, I was scoring. I felt like I was in a good rhythm, and after a while, like I wasn't getting the ball very much, and it's like after one of the games, I'm like, dude, what's the deal? Like I'm in the post, I'm open. And they're like, we're sick of throwing it in and you having the guy like tip the ball away because you're not sealing him enough. And I was like, what? Like, I'm doing that? I didn't realize I was doing that, right? And so, but like once I realized it and, you fend the guy off more, then you can get the ball. And that's exactly what's happening with Ayton. The whole first part of the season, he was just standing there expecting to get the ball without actually working and focusing on what to do and where to position himself, like you said. And so for the last few weeks, he's been doing a much better job of actually sealing his guy, getting to the spots, and making a conscious effort to get in positions where he can receive the ball and go up and score. And a lot of it has been near the basket and all that kind of stuff, and that's just great to see.
Yeah. So really happy with that. There's a lot of things that go into being a big man on both sides of the floor. Really happy with his play. Anything else you want to talk about with him, or do you want to move on to someone else?
Let's move on to someone else.
Okay, take your pick.
Well, let's talk about Scoot's game tonight.
Yeah, go ahead. You gonna go in on him?
No, I mean, I'm not going in on him. I thought he couldn't start because of a minutes restriction, but I'm joking. I mean, he didn't shoot well tonight. I thought he was fine, though. Only 2 turnovers, both travels. Some of his shots, like he missed a lot of mid-range shots, missed some 3 threes. I thought he had a couple of nice drives. I forget if it was his last shot or not, but sometime late in the game, he had a really nice drive, fended off the defender, going down the baseline to the right, and just blew the layup. But yeah, I mean, he didn't play well, but I didn't think it was like awful either tonight.
Yeah,
at least offensively.
He started having more efficient nights, and that was really encouraging. The last couple have just been really inefficient, and his 3-point shot isn't falling. He got a little mid-range happy in the second quarter. He missed 3 mid-range pull-ups in a row. Like, he has to find ways to continue to get downhill. I don't hate the shot. It's just never going to be super efficient. And I would like to see him either push it towards a floater from like 10 feet or just try and hezzy more in the mid-range. Mm-hmm. Although people don't really respect his mid-range shot. He just... They were running drop on him.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we went from Dame is like just an assassin. Anytime a team ever runs drop against him, he's going to devour it and score like 60. To Scoot, who, honestly, Eric, that is probably the best scheme to run on him right now. Because they're playing drop with Hartenstein, who's a really underrated defender. And they were chasing him over screens, actually. And, so he's not pulling up from 3, although going under screens is a viable strategy. And he basically is just staring at Hartenstein while Hartenstein's backpedaling, and it's like, yeah, I guess the mid-range shot is the shot to take there. Hartenstein isn't even going to worry about it. He just has to hit more of them. But it's really hard to just live on that mid-range shot against drop scheme. And Chris Paul kind of did it, but Chris Paul is crafty and would like weave the screen more. And it was just more of a threat where defenders actually worried about it, so he could hesitate, and he didn't have any problem with that. Scoot just isn't enough of a mid-range threat right now where defenders can just drop back and just give him that shot, and he takes it in a game like this and just misses it. It misses it. It misses it. The problem is we've seen him at times just try and attack and get all the way to the rim, but the big is just backpedaling and he drives right into the big and misses the lay-in. So one of the biggest things for him to work on this summer is stuff against drop scheme. Because as a point guard in the league, you gotta make teams pay for playing drop scheme. And what would Dame do? He'd pull up off the screen from 3. And he'd go one dribble with his left hand, right, left, and shoot. Scoot doesn't really have that. Like, there's multiple times coming off pick and rolls on the 3-point line, going to his left, where he could have pulled up from 3. But the problem is, I mean, there was a couple screens that were below the 3-point line because he's not a 3-point shooter like that. Like, his percentage has been good since he's come back from injury, at least by his standards, 34, 35% or whatever. But it's off of shots that the defense is basically giving him, and it's not off, like, super tough threes. He has to be able to come off a pick and roll and pull up from 3 and hit, like, 36% of it against drop. 36, 37%. The thing is, I don't think he's fully comfortable with that rhythm from 3.
Yeah.
So he has to drill that this offseason. Because if he can pull up from 3 when they're running drop, all of a sudden that big's going to be leaning forward. That big's going to be stepping up. He might be playing drop scheme, but he's a little worried about that shot. And that's when you can start hesitating, getting that big leaning forward, and that's when his speed comes alive and he's getting to the rim. The problem is, it's kind of what we talked about at the beginning of the year, when I was talking about how defenders are just sagging, they're letting him shoot threes, and it's really hard to beat them off the dribble because of it. He's not able to use hesitations because of it to get defenders leaning forward, leaning one way or the other, and then beat him off the dribble. And that's part of the reason why he's not like a super insane rim presence offensively. So that is something for him to work on. Like, you have to be basically the best athlete in the NBA at 6'3" in order to not make teams pay for playing drop by being able to pull up, go into the left off a screen. And he's not Ja Morant,
Yeah, you have to be Ja.
Yeah, like, he's like not Ja Morant.
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, unfortunately. He's super good, but that's just why he has to add that, because that'll make everything else easy.
Because that's when Fox became an all-star, was when he started being able to do that consistently.
Yeah.
Because earlier in his career, it was the same problem. Like, no one respected him. You just let him shoot threes. If he made some, you'd live with it. But for the most part, it was a good strategy. And I think that's, the Knicks have obviously been playing like one of the best defensive teams in the league. I think they're maybe up to second in defensive rating after this game. But they're just really tough and really well coached defensively, obviously, with Thibodeau. He has his faults elsewhere, but not on defense. And, so it's a game plan. And when you see a team like the Knicks that are that good on defense, literally just give him the 3-point shot, it's going to be the blueprint on him if they play tough teams like the Knicks. And he's got to find a way to fix that or to improve it.
Yeah, but that's the part with him barely being 20. Like, he hasn't had to rely on, like, pulling up from 3 going left.
Yeah.
Just with, like, an inside-outside foot 1-2 step into that shot, right? He hasn't had to, because he hasn't played against NBA defenses. That's something where he now has to drill that. He now has to be capable of doing that.
I think it was his last 3-point attempt, but, like, he came off the screen going right to left and stopped right at the top of the key.
Yeah,
and it just rimmed out. Like,
but do you see how he stepped into it though?
Yeah,
slow.
Yeah,
slow, because
he was wide open.
I know, but like, he comes off left and he right, left, right. Like, he hops so that he can go left, right into the shot when he's going to the left.
Well,
you look at Dame. Dame just plants that inside foot, and that's his second to last step, and then he plants that outside foot and rises up. Like, he runs into it. Scoot has to stop, hop so that he can set it up going outside foot, inside foot. When you're going to left or right and you're pulling up from 3, you want to plant your inside foot, then your outside foot when you pull up. Okay? Normally, a right-handed shooter, if you're stepping into a 3, you're going to step left, right. A left-handed shooter is going to step right, left. Okay? The only time it's different is if you're going towards your opposite hand. So right-handed shooter going left, they're going to go right foot, left foot, because right foot is your inside foot if you're going left. And Scoot doesn't have the comfortability with that footwork at all. He needs to drill that. He needs to shoot like 1,000 shots a day where he's pulling up, going to the left with that footwork. Because that's how you beat drop coming off a screen, because guys are fighting over, so guys are still going to be close to him. You got to be able to like pull up quick, right? If guys go under, you have all, you're going to have a lot more time to hop into it, set it up, line it up, whatever. But a lot of these screens, guys are, at least in this game, a lot of the mid-range shots he missed against drop where guys are going over. So if he's pulling up from 3, he has to get his footwork quick, and he's not comfortable with it. So what does he do? He tries to keep that defender on his back, then he goes into the mid-range and then shoots some weird pull-up.
Yeah. And then the other thing is when he shoots it slow, you can tell he's thinking about it and aiming versus just shooting the ball. And so that's the other thing, that once he gets the footwork down and it's quick, you have less time to stand there and think about how you're going to shoot the ball and whether you should shoot it and all that kind of stuff, because it's just more natural, quicker. You feel like you're in a rhythm if the footwork's right. And you just, once you start hitting it more consistently as well, I think there's a lot of room to grow there. So that's, I wouldn't say it's encouraging or whatever, but still hopeful that he can fix all these things.
Yeah, he has a lot of time to.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's seriously drilled him. At least drilled him enough to be comfortable with the 3-point shot in the NBA. This is something where I hope he drills proper footwork on pull-up threes. Mm-hmm. Because it's just like, man, if he could just hit it 36, 37%, coming left off a screen when they're running drop, if he could just pull up straight into it, then he gets that big leaning forward a little bit, then his hezzies are deadly. Like, how do you stop him then from getting past the big man? Then all of a sudden you're having to play out of him, and then he might have the learning curve that Dame did, where then he has to learn how to deal with a trap.
Yeah.
Right? But... Yeah, exactly. But, Ant will kill drop because he goes straight into that 3. Mm-hmm. And he's comfortable with it, so what he'll do is he'll set the pick and roll up a little higher above the 3-point line to give himself a little bit more space to run into a 3 instead of a long 2. Because the 3 is going to be more efficient because we're 3 points compared to a long 2. So, it's just basic math. That's the evolution for Scoot.
Yeah.
That's the next step for Scoot.
But, at the same time, some people keep bringing up that, Dame at 20 was still in college. Ant wasn't doing this when he was 20, which is correct. I'm not saying it's wrong or whatever, but those guys also didn't have 2 years playing with NBA rules at a professional level as well.
I'm tired of that, though.
No, I know, but that should have prepared him a little bit better. Just, not having to go to school, focusing 100% on basketball. Some of these things should have been a little bit more advanced at that age. He should be more advanced at 20 than Dame or Anthony, just based on that experience of 2 years. In my opinion.
But there's a lot of things to work on as a point guard. Maybe that's something he didn't work on enough. That could be part of the G League Ignites problem, right?
Absolutely.
But also, it could be something that he has worked on. He's just not comfortable with it at the pace of an NBA game. Mm-hmm. And that's where he just needs to work on it more. That he needs to drill more. That's part of development. So.
Well, and then Bouquet says, I don't know why we care so much about the shooting. His drives are not as good as what he was drafted for, which is also technically correct. But I would say if you start hitting outside shots or become respected as a shooter, it's going to open up and make the drives that much easier. Right now, tonight's defense, they were so far off of him that when he drove, outside of the 2 times he drove towards the baseline and shielded the guy off and stuck his arm way out and laid it up off the glass. One he made, one he didn't. Outside of those two plays, it's really hard for him to get to areas where he's comfortable finishing around the rim. So until he starts making that, with how good rim protection is, with how good point of attack defenders are in the NBA for a lot of teams, it's going to be tough sledding. So I think he does have to. The shooting does matter in terms of his finishing as well. It makes it easier when the guy comes out on you.
It opens up the drive. I mean, we saw it for years where if any team played drop scheme against Dame, he would come off the screen. They'd set the screen really high. He'd come off the screen with momentum going downhill against a big that was flat-footed, and he just read the big. If the big was on his heels, he's pulling up from three. And it's basically a wide-open shot that he drilled countless times in practice, so he hit a really good percentage of and would get hot. It would make teams pay. And then what happens after he hits one or two? Then the big is leaning forward, but they're still in drop scheme. This is just some of the dumber teams. You know, we saw it in the bubble. Perfect example with, like, Kristaps Porzingis and the Mavericks, right?
Yeah.
Then that big is below the three-point line, but Dame just has to come off. He doesn't even have to, like, hesitate in terms of, like, getting his hand on the side of the ball and, like, looking at the rim. He just has to, like, slow down and lift up a little bit, and that big man is just instinctually going to lean forward because he's worried about another shot. And then he's leaning forward. Dame's already still going downhill, and then it's the easiest drive in the world for Dame. Like, it's against drop coverage, Dame could easily beat two defenders before even getting within 15 feet. Easily. And then how do you stop that? You're basically playing, 4-on-3, unless the roller is rolling really hard too. Maybe it's 5-on-3, but it's just like you get the center out of the paint, you beat him, you beat your own guy. It became so effortless for Dame because he could pull up from three off the dribble. If Scoot is ever capable of that, he will be an all-star. Someday. Like, I fully believe if Scoot becomes capable of that, he will be an all-star someday.
Yeah.
Because, dude, his strengths, his drives, then they will look like how they did in the G League Ignite. The problem is he's not playing in the G League anymore.
Joey says, I don't think Scoot will ever be as good at Dame as shooting. Yeah,
he doesn't have to be as good as Dame. Like, he doesn't have to hit 31-footers and sidestep insane ISO threes. He just has to keep pick-and-roll defense honest and be able to pull up off of that, like a De'Aaron Fox can, or like a lot of other point guards in the league can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then you can start running picks higher, and then defenders have to chase over, and it makes it possible where you can split that guy if he's stepping out too wide, if he's hedging. Like, it opens up things against other schemes too. It just makes you more respected in terms of pick-and-roll defense because you'll make any type of pick-and-roll defense play. They have to play out further away from the rim, and the quickest guy on the court is going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I thought Scoot had a really nice finish at the beginning of the fourth quarter where he like went in, kind of absorbed some contact and like basically just created a little bit of space and then just went straight up and banked it off the thing. But it just seemed like a lot smoother than some of his other layups tried to be. It looked like so much more comfortable. He got deep and then just kind of easily put it off the glass. And I'd like to see him maybe do that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a funny comment in chat. I appreciate this comment. It says, I think fans, not Tori or Eric, are bringing Scoot is this type of player way too hard. Tori at least is pointing out his flaws and saying what he can work on to get better. I love that comment because that is, people will just say, you're haters or you're too negative with certain players, but it's always us trying to point out what we think they can do better.
Yeah.
And
that's negative.
Yeah, like if we could show highlights on stream, then we would, and we just literally point through each clip, right? I'm actually going to do player reviews with film breakdown. I'm saying screw it and doing highlights on videos at least because I can check to see if they'll get copyright claimed and this and that, and there's little tricks around it. So I'm saying screw it. Player reviews with highlight clips after the season in April where I will go through film and like point out instances like this. But that's the thing is it's easy to sit here and just stick to narratives without actually talking about what's happening on the court. It's easy to sit here and say, Scoot's only 19, Scoot's only 20, he'll be fine. This doesn't matter. Which I've been the one preaching patience because he's 19 or 20, but you can only preach patience if you also preach like, okay, he has a lot of time, but he needs to improve at this and this and this and this. Okay, if you're just saying, yeah, he's only 19, okay, well, what does he need to get better at in the next 4 or 5 years then? What does he have time to get better at? So that's why we always try to approach things like this, and that's why we are very proud of our platform, because I think we do a good job of that. Mm-hmm. Whereas a lot of the talk around this team is very narrative-driven, and you know, we talk about Deandre Ayton not sealing in the low post. He starts sealing in the low post, and people say, oh, look, they're finally giving him his touches. Why is that? You know? So I'm sure they're running more for him right now. I mean, they're definitely focusing on featuring him more, but there's a lot that goes into that, and some stuff that Ayton is doing better. And I can actually give him credit for doing stuff better that people aren't even giving him credit for. They're just saying they're just finally giving him the ball. No, he's actually improved it. Some nuanced stuff. Yeah. So always focus on stuff like that, because it's fun. It's fun to, especially in the tank season, to be like, okay, this guy is struggling with this, and then notice, hey, he's doing that a little bit better.
Yeah.
If you're losing by 15, it's fun to see improvement in the game with some nuanced stuff that maybe you wouldn't have noticed before, you know? But we're basketball nerds, so we like that type of stuff. Shout out to you if you're a basketball nerd like us.
Yeah. This is going to sound really negative, but speaking of things that I want to see improved on from Scoot, his defense, man, especially his defensive awareness. He's one of those guys who, like, if you just watch him on defense, he's like very, like, he'll run down the court and just be focused on getting to his guy and staying on his guy and not really noticing, like, there was a play where Banton turned the ball over tonight and Scoot was back on defense and he ran out to guard Brunson, who wasn't even in the play. Meanwhile, behind him, Dante DiVincenzo's just running right to the rim and gets a pass. Ends up missing a wide-open lay-in. Scoot grabbed the rebound. But, like, some of his awareness like that just in play is, like, just picking up the wrong person, rotating wrong, all these things. And those are all, luckily, like, fixable things. So hopefully this season provides a lot of film for him defensively as well, because I'd really like to see him become, I think he's got the athleticism and the length, those long arms, the big hands. Those are traits of good defenders. And I'd like to see him be a little bit more aware and get into passing lanes and things like that.
Yeah. Fully agree. So, proud of Scoot's performance in this one. Why did I say that? I'm literally this is what happens. I'm not proud of his performance. He didn't play that good, but I'm proud of I don't know.
You're proud of your breakdown of him.
I'm just like, my subconscious is like, be positive, Tori. I'm reading chat. Dro's like, Eric, what's the rumor? So I'm thinking, oh, we got Dro earlier today, right? Because it's basically just reiterating the status quo. It's nothing new, right? But we teased it on our second channel where you're going to have just a little something to share with us a little bit later. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm reading chat, and my subconscious like, Tori, be positive.
Dro knows better than to interrupt what we're talking about for something that's not even related to what we're discussing.
Bad question, Dro. You threw me off my game.
Jeez, Dro.
I've been having a good performance this stream, I think.
Don't even say hi.
But I just airballed.
Like, when are you going to talk about the rumor?
Oh, man.
Speaking of that, do you want to get the donation?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's to you, Tori.
Truly, Spencer PDX with a $2 donation. Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate you. I'm sorry we didn't read this off earlier. We're not as used to getting donos anymore with the season going the way it's going, but we appreciate you because you're a channel member and a donator. You're a legend. Says, day one of hunger strike till Torrey apologizes to DA. Unfortunately, it sounds like you're about to starve.
Oh, man. You're going to kill poor Tyler.
Tyler?
Oh, sorry. Spencer.
Truly Spencer.
I wasn't looking at it. I thought it was yeah. Sorry, Spencer.
All of a sudden, we're in a slump. Me and
Sorry,
Eric.
Spencer. My bad. Truly Spencer, not Tyler.
Like, this man got the name in his username.
I know. I was looking at Tyler James in chat. Was one of the last
this is why we can't read chat.
Yeah.
Chat just distracts us. Reddit was right.
Tyler Spencer.
We need to not be interactive, actually. Getting derailed by chat again. And you're talking about your basketball experience for the second stream in a row? Oh, man. How was
your rec league game?
Oh, man, you shouldn't ask me that, man. I'll start saying stuff that I should apparently feel ashamed for. I went 6 for 11 from 3, so that's nice.
Nice.
You'll hear about it on Reddit later.
Nice.
So. What Scoot is bad on defense? You can't say that? I mean, it's funny because people just assumed he was going to be good at defense because, like, oh, look, he gives effort and he has intensity.
Well, it's all this weird, like, he's Marcus Smart. Like, all these, like, remember when, like, Nate Jones and those people at the beginning of the season were just comparing him to, like, good defensive guards? It made no sense because Scoot didn't play like any of those players. But
bro, it's like they see, like, 3 or 4 defensive highlights where it's like, oh, look, he looks strong. He apparently has a 6'9" wingspan. And look, he hustled on that defensive play. That's Marcus Smart. I mean, it's just casual stuff. What are we talking about? He was not a good defender in the G League last year. And I told people that. I told people before the season, I've defended Scoot as much as anybody this year, but people's expectations for his defense was way too high to start the season.
Yeah.
And his defense has not been good, which you expect that out of a, 6'3" rookie point guard, right? But like Dame, I told people this. Dame, if you go back and watch when he was drafted, like, there was expectations that he could be a pretty good defender in the league.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
I'll give him.
The clip of him being drafted, they talk about that on ESPN or whatever.
Yeah, like, people expected him to be a good defender. Now, he's actually been a pretty decent defender this year, now that he doesn't have to do quite as much offensively, but it's like, you don't just assume he's a good defender because of a few highlights. I feel like that's what people were doing.
Yeah.
Like, yay, we finally got a point guard that can defend. That's why we moved on from Dame and drafted Scoot. Okay, like, he hasn't been a good defender at the G League level. What makes people believe he's going to be a good defender at the NBA level immediately? I don't get it. Long term, I have hope. Long term, hopefully he can be a good defender. I'm not going to say he can't be, but he has.
I mean, there's no reason why he can't be. Like, he's got, like I said, the physical tools to be that. He can be physical. He's strong. He's quick. He moves well laterally. He's a bit blocky, I guess, going through screens. But other than that, there's really nothing that he can't do defensively that would hinder him from becoming a decent defender.
He needs to learn some technique stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But he's got a long way to go. But the good thing is, we're not going to be good anytime soon.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it'll be really easy to see if he's working on it and improving stuff because it's going to jump out when he's not making the kind of mistakes rotationally that he's making right now.
Yep. 100%. Chat's funny, man. I like chat. Chat, I like you guys. Who else you want to talk about? Banton 6 for 20.
Yeah, Banton's. I don't know. I'm still curious what happens to Banton moving forward, even if we do keep him.
We're keeping him, Eric.
No,
Why are you so curious? I would be shocked.
Well, if he's retained, I still wonder if just putting up meaningless stats on a horrible team is going to translate into the future or not. I guess it always comes down to with him shooting that 3-ball. What was he from 3 tonight?
2 for 9 with one of his makes being a brick that went in.
Yeah, front rimmed it, bounced over. Yeah. I thought in the second half especially he took some contested ones that weren't good. He takes some like kind of deep ones too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He has decent form, but his form doesn't look the same every time he shoots it.
Yeah. Yeah, he rushes it a lot.
Like, his follow-through isn't exactly consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Which, he has good traits of his shot, which is why he's been able to make some shots. But, like, a game like this, if you just go back and watch his three-point shots, like, a lot of them don't look the same. You want your form to be the same every time you shoot the ball, and his isn't. So that explains why he's been a bad three-point shooter.
Like, Torrey 6 for 11. Sorry.
Dude, honestly, I made 3 threes in a row where, like, I'm a middle finger shooter, but I made 3 threes in a row where I was just shooting the ball weird. I don't know, I didn't warm up before a game. Shooting it off my pointer finger, and I hit 3 in a row. So, I'm so bad I'm good. I'm so bad I'm good, chat. Yeah, 6 for 20 is just very inefficient night. I mean, how do you feel? Because I talk about this in the video I dropped on him, but just some of the layups he forces is kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, tonight, 4 turnovers. 5 turnovers, sorry. 2 assists, 5 turnovers. Not. I mean, when we're missing Anthony and some of our main guys, I just feel like he's got to do a better job of, 1, taking care of the ball, and 2, we know he can shoot those, whether he makes them or not, but we know he can get a shot off on pretty much any kind of defense, which is a good trait to have, but he's been very inconsistent with his shooting throughout his career. But I still want to see more of use that frame, use that ability to get a shot off. If you're able to do that, you also have the ability to pass in pretty much any situation. And I feel like he can collapse the defense sometimes and kick it out to shooters, or look for maybe 8 and roll into the basket or something a little more often. So I feel like he just forces a little too many shots. But I mean, like a night like tonight, when you're playing a good defensive team, sometimes you have to, because we didn't really have many other players in the lineup today that could create their own shot.
Yeah, he needs to make more kick-out passes. A lot of the misses he forces is because there's more than one defender in the paint waiting for him.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if that's the case, that means they're leaving someone else. So if there's not proper spacing or it's a non-shooter, then it's a problem where, like, okay, that's not really a viable option. But for a guy that's 6'9", he can certainly read defenses, and he has some point guard skills and traits, but he would just be so much better if he could read the help defense. And it's the same thing with freaking Jeremy Grant to a much higher extent with him.
Yeah.
It's just like these tall guys, man. It's just like if you could just read the guy coming over and helping, you could be so freaking good. Because you're going to make defenses pay. And I think that's kind of been the problem with Banton, and part of the reason why he's struggled to get in the rotation for Toronto back before they started tanking, and Boston was they got talent on that team, but if you're going to handle the ball, you got to be able to, A, be more efficient than he has been in his career, and B, when you beat your initial defender and the defense rotates help towards you, you got to be able to make the right kickout pass or the right dump-off pass. And seeing some of the shots he forces when he has a pass available to him kind of makes me realize why maybe he didn't stick in Toronto or in Boston, because as a coach, if you're playing a role player off the bench and he's not making that pass, it's frustrating. And you couple that with his lack of three-point shooting off the ball, and he's not somebody that has spaced the floor before now. Luckily, he shot the 3-ball well in Portland. We'll see if that lasts. But, so it's like, okay, you can't really play him off the ball because defenders are just going to leave him. Then you play him on the ball, and he's going to force a lot of shots and not make the right pass. And he's not good enough to justify, he's not an efficient enough scorer off the dribble to justify him taking 15, 20 shots a night. Guys like that struggle to find roles for good teams. They struggle to play. So he's fixed one. So far, he's fixed one of the things, and that's the three-point shot. We'll see if he can maintain that, or maybe it's just a hot shooting stretch. I don't know. But the three-point shot is key number one. Key number two is making the right pass on his drives. Because he can finish, and he has some touch around the rim and, has some moves, but he makes it way too hard on himself when he tries to score on 2 or 3 defenders at times. And if he just makes the easy play, the easy pass, then all of a sudden you got a real threat both on and off the ball. Then you got a really freaking good player.
Yeah.
He is somebody that I feel like is close to being a good NBA player. It's just those two things.
Yep, I agree with all that. He still is young enough to develop these things and things like that. I think this season, getting playing time and knowing going into the offseason exactly what he needs to improve on, not just a blanketed, you need to shoot better or whatever. Yeah. So I think getting this experience, all these minutes, will help him moving forward if he's going to put in the time to get better. But that's a question with a lot of these young players. Just you come into the league, you can't really shoot that well. What are you going to do to improve that and make it more consistent? And is it just a small sample size like we've seen with several players now here in Portland, where they come in for after a trade or something and look like they're, this guy's the answer, and then as the season goes on, it just trails off mightily and kind of regresses back to their normal average. But yeah.
I don't think he's that much different than he was in the past. He's just getting more opportunity.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's in the past that hasn't been good enough. He's in this situation with Portland. They don't care because we're not trying to win or whatever. We have a lot of injuries, so he's getting the opportunity, but he still has to be better than this if he wants to be like a rotation player moving forward, I think.
Yeah, because Eric, let me do the math after tonight, because tonight he's 2 for 9 from 3. He's 4 for 11 inside the arc. Okay, which means in Portland, where's my phone? I need my calculator. In Portland, he is, where's totals here? Before this game, he was 44 for 98 from 2, which means he's now 48 for 109 from 2. Okay. 48 divided by 109. After this game, he's shooting a flat 44% from 2. That's actually very inefficient.
It's okay. It's not awful, but it's not
that's bad. That's
for a guard, it's not bad.
44% from 2? I feel like that's terrible.
It's not good, but
that's like the equivalent of shooting 29% from 3.
Yeah.
That's 0.88 points per shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the equivalent of an offensive rating of 88 on if he only shot 2s, right? It's 0.88 points per shot on 2s. Now, you got to take into account maybe sometimes where he gets into the free throw line, because obviously that's him attacking and trying to shoot 2s where he's getting fouled, right? But it's not like he shoots a crazy amount of free throws. He shoots 3 a game in Portland. 23 minutes a game, 3 free throws a game. Shoots 69% from the free throw line. The only reason why he seems like he's playing good is because before this game, he was shooting 40% from 3. And because he's new. And because there's a couple games where he actually makes 2s and he has 25 points. And it's oh my goodness. But what did we say when we traded for him? He is skilled. It's not a problem where he doesn't have skill and he's not able to move. Like, he's fluid. He can handle. He has a little bit of craftiness to him. He has a lot of good traits. The problem is he forces way too many bad shots from 2. He should not. This dude, 6'9", with touch, with the ability to Euro step and like change up his pace and mix up his steps on finishes. There is no way he should be shooting 44% from 2. Yes, he's a guard, Eric, but he's 6'9". He should not be shooting that poorly. So
I'm just saying, for like the shots he takes, I don't know.
It's a career low from 2.
Mm-hmm.
If it like he barely played in Boston, but he was shooting 49% from 2. Yeah. Last year in Toronto, he shot 50.6% from 2. His rookie season shot 46.4% from 2. He is not shooting well enough from 2, but he's shooting good from 3. So it's the key is the 3-point shot, and then the key is not shooting so many bad 2s, because then he's efficient, and then if he makes more passes, kick-out passes when he collapses the defense, then he's a really good passer too. So I don't think what he's doing is necessarily any different than maybe what I expected, other than some of the 3-point shots he's making. He needs proper coaching.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy that I feel like a coach should love, because it shouldn't be too hard to turn him into a good NBA player.
Yeah, but you can't teach a lot of passing instincts. I mean, you can become a better passer, but I just don't see it's just, for me, it's frustrating when you see a player that can get pretty much anywhere he wants on the court like that and use his size, but doesn't have like a good feel for passing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you can teach him to make more kick-out passes, though.
Yeah,
because he'll have plays where he reads the defense and makes the right kick-out pass and makes an impressive pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even that he's incapable of it. That's what's frustrating. There's plays where it's like, wow, the vision he showed on that is exactly what he needs to. Like, it's exactly the type of vision I would hope that he would show more consistently. He's just not consistent. I don't know. So, he's had games like 7 for 20, 6 for 20. He's shown you what he can be if he's hitting 3s and making 2s, which is a freaking good player. He just, I don't necessarily fully buy the 3-point shot that he's shooting right now. I don't expect it to stay around 40%. And then he has to stop forcing so much. But I mean, part of it in this situation is like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I'm in Portland. We're tanking. Like, I'm going to go get mine. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. But he has to stop forcing so many 2s. He has to make kick-out passes. And if he can do that and keep knocking down 3s, I like him as a player.
Yeah.
So. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's the perfect type of player to have in a tanking season to try and get the most out of, compared to somebody that proves that, yeah, over 4 years they haven't shot the 3-ball well, Cam Reddish, and they're also a bit of a turnover machine. Like, their off-the-dribble stuff isn't that dynamic, Cam Reddish, and they've got an opportunity.
Yeah.
And hasn't done anything with it, Cam Reddish.
And he's cheap.
I'd rather take the taller guy who's more skilled, more fluid, and have the hope that you can develop his 3-point shot, given that he hasn't really been in the league and hasn't gotten as much opportunity as a Cam Reddish. Maybe that giving him a bigger role gives him some confidence to knock down more 3s, which I think maybe it has, and then try and dial it back from 2. Like, Banton's moldable. Getting guys that suck in their 5th year or whatever is not the same compared to getting a guy like Banton in his 3rd year. So I actually like they got the right type of reclamation project, because I've sat here on stream and just
I'm not sorry. If Mario Hezonja could only start hitting 3s, he'd be pretty good.
The thing is, though, it's actually kind of a funny comparison, because I do think, like, Mario Hezonja was supposed to be a 6'9" point forward, right? When we brought him in, because he had like 3 games where he played point guard for the Knicks the year before and looked good. It's just kind of crazy. But Mario had no feel for finishing if it wasn't a dunk.
Yeah.
And I think Banton has a feel for finishing. He just takes some shots that are way too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Banton's form is better from three. Even though it's inconsistent, it's more fluid. And I think Banton has better touch. So that's that's the difference right there. That's the difference.
Yep.
So.
Are we ready for Tankathon, or what? Do you want me to talk about my thing?
Any other players you want to talk about?
Not really. Do you?
Not really. Not really.
Everyone else is kind of meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll look at BetUS lines after Tankathon because we need to do that. And yeah, that's gonna be our stream. But first, I want to give a shout out to Manta Sleep Mask, who is still sponsoring us, which is lovely because I love their product. I use it. I know a lot of people use it. Somebody said they bought one on a recent stream, and then they got gifted a membership. So buying a Manta Sleep Mask gives you good karma. I got my mom one at Christmas. They made for a great Christmas gift, but you can get one for yourself. I'm into meditation and like slowing down my mind in the middle of the day because my mind's racing 100 miles an hour with everything I do for YouTube, running a business called Hog Media. I haven't really talked about that a whole lot, but I help run a creator network, and it's just hectic on a day-to-day basis making graphics for people. So I love to sit down with the Manta Sound Mask. It's right here. Got the Manta Sound Mask right here. I love to sit down with this thing. It has adjustable Bluetooth speakers. I just connect it to my phone. I play guided meditation. I just listen to somebody basically tell me to calm down and breathe. Calm down and relax. And just do like little mental exercises, little meditation to slow myself down during the day. So they're not just great for sleeping at night. They're good for relaxing during the day. But they got eye cups that block out all light, adjustable, washable, very, what's the word? They're just very user-friendly sleep masks and very comfortable as well. So if you want to get yourself a Manta Sleep Mask, all you have to do is head over to mantasleep.com, use promo code Uprise, as that'll get you 10% off your Manta Mask order. It'll also help out the channel, so it's a great way to support yourself and support Blazers Uprise. Shout out to them for sponsoring the post-game show. And now, let's head over to Tankathon. So Charlotte did not play today, which means Portland. Hey, Portland gained half a game on them, Eric. Making progress.
Noise.
Making progress. We're 2 games back. 2 wins back, 2 games back in Charlotte. We play them on April 3rd. So if we can cut another game, I mean, that could be a very important tank game right there. Also, still a 4-game cushion in the win column with Memphis. And Golden State has a 2-game cushion over Chicago. Unfortunately, Chicago lost today. Otherwise, Chicago would have been 2 games back of Golden State. Luckily, Golden State started to struggle a little bit. They've played 500 basketball in their last 10. And the second round picks for Portland are at 34 and 40. Let's simulate this thing and root for good luck. And maybe Toronto is not in the top 4.
Nah, they love themselves some Toronto.
They really do, man. I don't get it. All right, my stream deck is broken for some reason, so maybe no sound effects for this one. Just a train in the background. Eric's train. At 14, the Pelicans. At 13, the Portland Trailblazers. No, I like the train. The train's a good vibe, man. Especially because it was nice today. There's something about just train horns in the distance. I live close enough to train tracks that I hear them. Train horns in the distance when it's nice out. There's just something about it, especially at night. It's a vibe. Shout out to you in chat if you can relate to that. Chicago at 12. OKC at 11. Utah at 10, which means the Atlanta Hawks have moved into the top 4. Well, I shouldn't have complained about chalk on Tankathon Sims, because now they're giving us some crazy stuff. At 9, Houston via Brooklyn. At 8, I think this is supposed to be Toronto. There we go. It's to San Antonio. Finally got them out of the freaking top 4.
But San Antonio gets it.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we do want them in the top 4 as long as we're still in it. At 7, it should be the Memphis Grizzlies. And at 6, it should be the Portland Trailblazers. At 6 is the San Antonio Spurs. I gotta play the soundboard.
So it's Hornets, Blazers, and Hawks so far.
Yeah. Hawks, Blazers, and who was the other team you said?
Hornets, right?
Yeah, Hornets.
Yeah.
So we'll see if moving up to 4 is the play or not. We're both top 4. At 5, is it going to be Detroit again?
No way, dude.
I love this part of the Tankathon where we just laugh at Detroit's pain at 5.
It's realistic because it's exactly what happened to him last year.
Exactly. Oh, man. No, dude, whatever pick we get to talk about trade down options with San Antonio again. It's been a minute.
6 and 8.
Yeah. At 4 is your Portland Trailblazers. At 3 is the Washington Wizards. It's down to Charlotte and Atlanta. At 2 is Atlanta, and at 1 is Charlotte. We got to get 4, Eric.
We need 4. See, this one Tankathon sim with 12.5% odds.
4 and 13 for 6 and 8. I don't think San Antonio does that.
No.
Because I think this actually breaks very cleanly where Charlotte goes with Sarlet, okay, the Charlotte Hornets. Atlanta goes with Ricochet. And Washington goes with Topic. And then we're sitting there. I'm not high on Ricochet or Topic, so like we don't get Sar, but we get our choice of whoever we have like 2 through 5 or 6, right? Man, 4 would be a really interesting pick if that's how the board broke, and then we're sitting there at 4. Because I feel like you would kind of have a feeling before the draft that it was going to go Sar, Ricochet, Topic, so there would actually finally be some consensus, and then the draft starts at 4 with who Portland takes.
Yeah, there was some things today that Topic had a setback and was going to be out another week or 2, and they're saying it might start to affect his draft stock at some point. So maybe that might be something to.
It's not going to affect him on my board because he's already pretty low.
No, I know, but I'm saying like in terms of Washington taking him 3 or whatever.
True. I mean, maybe that's Dillingham, but I mean, we're not taking Topic, and I feel like Washington really wants a point guard, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean Dillingham or Shepherd.
Because they need a point guard and a center. But there's no center that they would take at 3 with Sar off the board.
Or would they?
Huh. Who you thinking?
Klingen.
Klingen? I'd laugh my ass off if they took Klingen.
That'd be so awesome, though.
or Filipowski.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. That would be hilarious, bro. Could you imagine? Bro, or they go Klingen at 3 and we go Filipowski at 4. If you guys want to see me have a meltdown like never before, you better hope that the Portland Trailblazers take Filipowski at 4.
No, because then once the meltdown's over, we still have to have him on our team.
I mean, we have Chris Murray on our team.
Just don't.
I didn't even melt down over the Chris Murray pick.
You could.
I just stared at the webcam and said nothing. And then I said, Chris Murray? We just had to have a Murray brother. That was not a meltdown. You know me, Eric. You know I'm very capable of much, much more.
But if we would have taken Chris at 3.
Okay, yeah. Wouldn't you have had a meltdown if we took Chris Murray at 3?
But that's like what this will be, right? If we took him at 4, Filipowski at 4.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you know what's funny? Is I would have a meltdown, and then all the same people would be like, "You're so negative. Why don't you give him a chance?" And it's all these people that have, like, never watched him play. Where I've watched him regularly for 2 years. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Sorry to ruin the vibes. Okay, Eric, we're taking Chomchi at 4.
Let's go.
There. Hopefully I made you feel better.
I feel fine.
Good. Wouldn't want to make you feel not fine. Chomchi. I mean, I don't know. I would do 4 and 13 for 6 and 8 if San Antonio really wanted to, but I don't think they would.
Yeah, probably not.
I think they just sit there. One of them is Dillingham, and one of them is wing or forward. I think even though they fall out, like if they get the Toronto pick, it might be better for them, unless they get Sarr, right? It would be better for them to get like 6 and 8 compared to 3 or 2, in my opinion, assuming Sarr goes 1. Because then you get an upside chance at a wing and you get your point guard. And Dillingham is better than Topic, and I think Dillingham would fall. Or also Reed Shepherd would be interesting there. Like, just give Wemby some shooting. Reed Shepherd is going top 8. There's no way he doesn't.
They could get Shepherd and Dillingham.
Yeah. That'd be kind of fun, actually. Maybe I should bump that up to top 6. Like, I truly think Reed Shepherd is going 5 or 6. I know on your mock draft you took Reed Shepherd at 5, which surprised me because you had him just lower on your board. But there's just... He makes sense just because he's such a good freaking shooter. Like, Detroit needs shooting. San Antonio could use maybe another shooter and just somebody to space the court for Wemby that can also run some pick and roll with them. Memphis needs shooting. He could be a really interesting third guard for Memphis that could help them right away. There's just too many teams in that range that would love Reed Shepherd, I think, that he's going 6 or 7 at the latest. I still think there's a legitimate chance he goes 2nd, depending on the team.
Well, he'd go 1st according to the Ringer.
Yeah, I don't think he's going 1st. But I mean, dude. Do you think there's no chance he goes 1st though?
I mean, it kind of depends on who gets the pick, I guess. But
yeah, I just think if a team wants a shooter, they'd probably go for Risache 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want a big, they're going to go for Sarr. And if they want a point guard, they're going to go for Topic. Is kind of how it feels. But, dude, you got a chance of having the best shooter in the league one day. I mean, the league is built around 3-point shooting now. So, I think Reed Shepherd is going to be that guy that people have mocked lower in the top 10 and then goes, like, 3rd. And people are like, whoa. We'll see.
I mean, it won't be a whoa for me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean...
I don't think that's a hot take or anything.
Yeah, there tends to be... I don't know. There tends to be a little bit of consensus going into draft night where if, like, something happens, it shakes it up. It's like, wow, what happened? Just like Ben Curry going.
Yeah, but it's still a long ways off from the draft to get to that point. Like, most of that is because the consensus, like... I'm blanking on his name. Who's the guy the Spurs took a couple years ago that ended up having the thing with the therapist and got cut?
Primo? Was that?
Yeah, Primo. Yeah, because a lot of boards had Primo like late 1st, early 2nd. So it's like, wow, like it was pretty much consensus that he wasn't a lottery pick. But like now, I mean, there's still a lot of information that has to be determined yet on some of these players to make that statement now, is a little premature, I think.
Yep.
Unless Washington takes Klingon, then we can all say, wow.
Yeah. Any other prospects you've watched lately that you want to speak on?
I've recorded a lot of games this week, but I haven't had a chance to watch much. You?
Not really. I mean, I know Stephon Castle had another good game today. I think he is definitely a top 10 prospect. Unless he's 6'4" or shorter, but I don't think he is. He looks 6'5", 6'6" at least. Just too many good traits with him. Jameer Watkins had a phenomenal game the other day.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I think it was. He had like 32 and 11. He's just a measurement guy for me. Like, if he's 6'6", 6'7", and can play the 3, he's intriguing because I like him defensively at that position. I like he's not never going to be a guy that averages 5 assists per game, but just in the flow of the offense, like he can make decent reads.
Yeah.
Nothing super advanced, but just he can play in the flow of an offense. Decent athlete, like moves well and has improved his 3-point shot. Rebounds decently. Like there's a lot of good traits in a forward. So I still like him. Other than that, no, not really.
Devin Carter had a good game today. They upset. Who's they upset? Creighton. Yeah.
Devin Carter is one of those guys where, like, if I made a big board for the Phoenix Suns, he would be a top 10 prospect. He would be like 9th or 10th. Mm-hmm. If I made a big board for the Portland Trail Blazers, he'd be like 25th.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing to remember with big boards too is, it's just kind of like an average of everything. But for some teams, that's why mocks are going to be fun. For some teams, like Devin Carter makes so much freaking sense for the Suns.
Yeah. I mean, I think he could step into a rotation on a good team pretty much right away.
I think he would they got Beal and they're doing the whole, Beal point guard thing. But if Beal's out because he's always injured, I think Devin Carter would start right now if he was in the league playing for the Suns. Because they need like a point guard, but a point guard that can play off the ball and play defense at the point of attack. Perfect guy. And can rebound. He's a perfect glue guy. So.
Yep.
Just give me Connect, please. His measurement's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Can't wait to get all these official measurements. And I can't wait for the freaking tourney, dude. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, that concludes Tankathon. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna be in Vegas for the national championship. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Nice. Maybe you should vlog it. Vlog Eric.
Well, I'm still hoping to that Thursday night, the 11th.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to live stream from like a sports book or something for at least a little bit during the post-game show.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man. That'll be fun. Looking forward to it. I was setting up Bet US. I was already showing the website. Whoops. I was just looking through stuff. Question from chat for 5 minutes, then we'll do look at a couple things on Bet US, and then we'll wrap up the stream. We're gonna sit here in silence until chat asks a question.
Are you not doing the Bet US thing?
No, I am.
You're setting it up.
I gotta set up a little bit, yeah. So
yeah.
Gotta play a commercial. Gotta do all that. Yeah. What was? Eric.
You want to do
we
that
forgot.
before or after Bet US?
No, do it now. Do it now.
Okay, while you're doing that.
Yeah, just whatever. Yeah, whatever you got.
All right. So, what I've heard, this isn't like breaking news or anything because we've talked about this before, but it was reiterated to me once again that The front office still it believes in Anthony. They're still very high on him. Um, and they still are the most high on Shaden Sharp. And they think he's like going to be the person that ultimately puts them back into whatever they're trying to get to. But it sounds like they're not going to make any decisions on the three of them, including Scoot, this summer. Once again, it's going to be all three of them on the roster next year. And then the following summer in 2025, they might start making a tough decision, but they want to give it at least one more season with the three of them to make sure they give Scoot some time. They give Anthony some time to see how he fits with those two young guys and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully Shaden's healthy next year so we can start to see his development as well. But yeah, basically those three are not going to be moved or considered to be moved this summer. And then,
well, is it something else regarding that? Because I'll let you finish regarding that, but I have something to say regarding that.
Go ahead.
So I heard, okay. I heard that they are willing to trade Ant for a specific player that I don't think gets traded, so I don't expect Ant to get traded.
I mean, you've already said who that is.
No, I haven't. No, not on stream.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You haven't set it up that way, but yeah.
No, I mean, well, don't, man.
I mean, people are already saying it. Like, you literally said it in the stream.
I don't remember saying it. Okay,
yeah.
So shh. Okay.
I did ask about that, Tori.
Yeah, and what'd you hear?
No chance.
Well, I don't think he gets traded.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets traded, but yeah, I remember saying it. So, anyway, but yeah, that's what I heard. But I don't think there's a chance of that. And also, I don't exactly trust the intel. But so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if that team called Portland and offered it, I think they would consider it. Sure.
Oh, absolutely, they should. They'd be ridiculous.
They're not going to call them and offer that deal, and I don't think they even listen to that.
I don't know. Would they consider trading Ant for like the perfect trade? I feel like that's a yes, right? Because that's kind of a perfect.
I mean, so far that's the only way Cronin does trades is if a perfect trade falls in his lap. So I can't say no to that. But like I said, what I heard was that they have no intention on moving any of the three of them until after the following season. They want to at least give it one more season. They feel like this season they didn't give them enough of a chance to figure out what or who the keeper is, who the person who should be traded, or if possibly none of them need to be traded. So I do think that I don't know. I'd be shocked at this point if they are even exploring moving him this summer.
Yeah. A
few
streams ago, he did a portion of a stream on Ant for Front Street. Yeah, but I didn't say that I had specifically. Right? So, anyway. But, regardless. Yeah, that was a little hint. But, I didn't. Anyway, moving on. Go ahead.
So what the Blazers are trying to do, I mean, this is not going to surprise anyone based on the all the things that have been said, but they still want to take a step forward, and they're going to try to use Brogdon's contract and other assets to get a player back. They want a player. They don't want to trade players for picks. They want to go after someone who can help them be better next year.
Good luck.
Yep. We'll see if that happens. I feel like at this point you're going to have to, because if you're trading Brogdon for that purpose, you're not trading, like if you're trying to get a good player, especially a good young player, why would that team want Brogdon? So you're going to have to attach a bunch of assets.
It's a third team.
Yeah, maybe.
They're going to try and get a pick for Brogdon and then use that pick for something else. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a third team trade because no team is going to trade a good. Only playoff teams are trading for Brogdon and they're going to offer picks. So then you parlay those picks into something else. Right?
Yeah.
So.
But I think I'd also be surprised if Brogdon's on the team next year, based on what they were saying. So, yeah. I think the only way he is if they literally have no one that wants him.
Which is maybe possible now that he has this injury hanging over him, so I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I assume this offseason is going to be they trade Brogdon for the best package of assets they can find, and then they start shopping those assets and seeing, like, what is out there on the market to upgrade and short-circuit the rebuild.
Yeah.
Because we got to make the freaking play-in. We got to get the 10 seed, Eric. That's the goal.
I mean, we talked about that Hankins interview earlier on our Blazers Uprise live stream, but he made it seem like he never used the R word either. He made it seem like they were going to want to be competitive sooner rather than later as well.
What the fuck are we rebuilding for, bro?
I don't know, man.
It's so frustrating. Like, we traded. Oh god. Anyway, I mean, it's just directionless bull crap.
The only thing I'll say, and I still don't think it makes sense for us to do this, but I do think the way the season's played out, someone like Mikal Bridges could be more gettable this summer than he was obviously untouchable last summer. So I could see a scenario where we give up Brogdon for 13 and maybe even one of our future picks for Mikal and go about it that way.
Bro, Eric, I hate that.
No, I know.
It's, you know what it is? It's like Brogdon for maybe a first, and then you trade the 13th, the Golden State pick, and then you trade another pick, right? I don't know what freaking pick. Maybe it's the Boston unprotected first. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. You trade that in a 3-team trade where Brogdon's outgoing salary, and you get back Mikal, and maybe you dump Thibault in the process to get under the tax, whatever.
Well, if you traded both picks, you'd be under the tax, I think, because.
Well, I don't think they're trading the top, their own pick for Mikal. That doesn't really make sense. If they did, I mean, then I'm even more pissed. But you know what it's doing?
Well, they're not. I don't think the Nets are doing it without including that pick.
I mean, regardless.
They've been offered 5 first.
Eric, regardless if that pick is included or not, okay, you are locking yourself into a team with no all-stars on it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single all-star caliber player. Then you're putting all your eggs in the basket like Shaedon Sharpe better become a freaking bona fide all-star. Scoot Henderson better become a bona fide all-star. You got some good players, but you got like guys that should be second or third options on championship teams. You can't win with a bunch of second/third options. You gotta have a guy.
Well, I think that's what goes back to my first point, is that they think Shaedon still could be that guy. I don't know.
But, like, you can't put it all on Shaedon.
I know. I mean, Jeremy's been a fringe all-star. Mikhail's probably been a fringe all-star. Ant could become a fringe-type all-star. I mean, I know these are
perfect
all
world, Eric.
Yeah.
We might make a second round.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that's the type of move that they're looking to make.
Because they weren't actually ready for the rebuild, even though they wanted to go young.
I know.
I mean, like that's literally what that is. We went young. Viewership went down 50 to 60%. Oh, we can't do this. We can't stomach this. We chose the wrong decision. I mean, you might as well just have freaking went all in around Dame then. It's just stupid stuff. Like, it's so directionless. It's why I don't have faith in this rebuild. It's why I question so much stuff. And people are like, I have no worries. And there's a bunch of people out there that would love a Mikhail trade. This team is ready to be competitive. Yay! Maybe we can be 500. Sick! It's all the people that will take, like, a good 3-week Deandre Ayton stretch and be like, yep, he's an all-star now. As if he's never had good 3-week stretches in the past. I mean, you're just
Ayton
praying.
Taking a stray in your meltdown.
Huh?
Ayton's taking a stray in your meltdown, dude.
Dude, like, you're just praying for everything. Everything has to work out absolutely perfectly for this team to ever win a championship with that move.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself no leeway. Sharp has to be a bona fide all-star, borderline superstar. Okay? And then, I mean, but it's just like, why are you doing it so fast? He needs time. He needs time. He's 20. You know? So if he's going to be that, you still might as well be patient. But he has to be that guy. Or Scoot or him have to be a bona fide, like, top 15 player. Because, no offense to Ant, I've defended him all season. I don't think he's ever going to be a top 15 player. Like, I think that's asking for a little too much. He's a good number 3 for sure on a contending team. I think he could maybe be a number 2. But the problem is your Ayton has to play like this all the time, which he's never done. Okay. Grant has to figure out how to stop being allergic to rebounds and being able to play some defense. You still have problems with fit. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. What if Cade was available? Cade is young.
Yeah.
Cade is young. Like, and Cade has the potential to be a top 15 player someday. I don't think Cade is available, though, for that reason, right? Yeah. So it's just short-circuiting the rebuild for no reason other than they can't stomach the rebuild. They can't stomach the process. They should be accumulating assets and giving themselves as many chances at finding the next superstar. Their next superstar.
I agree. You take as many swings at those as possible. Because all it takes is for you to hit on one with like a Giannis or a Kawhi or something, or even like a Rudy Gobert type, and you're set, right? Jokic. You know, like you just keep taking swings.
Yeah, like
and you might not hit on any of them, but it's still a better chance of that happening, even if it's minute versus just being average.
You're just going all in on a team that doesn't have a clear identity and doesn't have a clear guy. Yes, you still maybe have a couple of future picks, but then you're praying that Milwaukee sucks in 2028 because that'd be the only thing to save that roster if everything doesn't go perfectly. But at the end of the day, if you just have patience and then those picks end up being great, you could build a dynasty, but if you do it this way, you're not going to be able to build the level of a team that could be a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
So It's directionless stuff, and I mean, I wouldn't be. I kind of expect a McHale trade. I kind of do. I kind of do. Because Brooklyn could sit there, especially if we're traded our pick, Brooklyn could sit there and be like, okay, well, we are, we didn't have our pick this year, but we're starting a rebuild. We still have a top pick this year. And they can justify that.
Yeah.
But I expect Brooklyn to rake Cronin over the freaking coals in that trade. I'd be shocked if they didn't. So, I would love to have a good team that I could make a bunch of content about that people would like to watch. I would love that. Okay? That'd be good for the channel. We finally reached 10K subs. But I want to win a championship. None of my teams. I got to see 2 of my teams lose championships already this year. I just want a freaking championship.
Nick Neman says, I think OKC or Houston would easily outbid us for Bridges. Well, it kind of depends because Portland's going to have, unless something crazy happens, we're going to have by far the highest pick out of those guys. Where is OKC's pick via Houston right now?
Like 9th.
And then Houston has Brooklyn's pick, so I guess they could trade that back to them. But unless they move up into the top 4, we're going to have a higher pick. So that alone...
Like, who's to say if we end up 6...
Right, yeah, if we fall, obviously...
What's the difference between 6 and 8 in this draft? Do you know what I mean?
Right, and getting...
6 and 9.
Because Brooklyn could get their future picks back and then not have to say that we can't take because we owe all our future picks.
It'll be a bidding war. And that means that if we trade for McHale, Cronin will overpay for him.
We're going to put our chips in, and it's going to hurt when we do it, but it's necessary, and we have to give Dame the opportunity, right?
Oh, wait. You almost had me there for a second. I've heard that so many times, but no, we have to give Scoot Henderson the opportunity to win a ring before it's too late, Eric. He's already 20 years old.
See, this is why this all comes back to me, to Scoot struggling at the beginning of the year, because they set the expectations for him so high, and then they tried to temper him, but they also were trying to temper the expectations for the team so that if they were successful in executing their plan to be even because if they're sitting here like a few games out of the play-in right now and they're like, look how far ahead we are than people thought, it's because Scoot's really good and Anthony's good and look at Ayton playing right now. So if you had all that happen the way they really were hoping this happened, you probably don't get a huge decline in ratings too. Like, people would be more into the games from the beginning of the season if Scoot was the real deal right away, and if the team was 3-9 or something at one point at the beginning of the season, just a complete opposite of last year when we were 10-4. And so there's been some games where we played well, or like a few game stretches where they've done decent, or we're happy where we're at because we responded well after getting trounced every game on a road trip. But there hasn't
with
been...
Brogdon and Grant and Simons and but we're just gonna add McHale and all of a sudden it's just gonna all be worth it. It's just, oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
Like, if they had McHale and Sharp takes a jump next year and Scoot takes a bit of a jump, this team could definitely be a 7 or an 8 seed. Like, they could definitely be 500, maybe a little bit better. But the end goal needs to be to maximize the chances to win a championship in the next decade, like, before we have to rebuild again. So,
yeah, and to be fair, I have not heard McHale specifically. It's just when you talk about Brogdon's contract and
McHale is the
players I
perfect
know
guy for them to trade for.
targeted in the past and who are still, I have heard that they are still interested in him even after trading Dame. Man, it's hard to think of anyone else that they would really go after when you hear they were targeting players. Even, and Cronin said this too at the trade deadline. He said that they went after certain players, not picks or whatever. They really wanted to add players to this roster.
Yeah, I would probably rather trade Ant for Bridges than trade a bunch of picks for Bridges.
Well, we had this conversation a few weeks ago where if we traded for Bridges, who would you rather give up between Anthony, Scoot, and Sharp?
Yeah, I don't even remember what I said. I don't remember the conversation.
The funny part about that too is if you keep Anthony, Scoot, and Sharp, then do you really, if you think that could possibly work, do you really need a 3 like as good as McHale?
Exactly.
Don't you need more of like a backup 3 with a really good, a better than Jeremy Grant 4? I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, so McHale comes here, and does he take a step back and roll again? Like, he's a great role player, but you're trading for a guy that's... Like, somebody has to be the 4th option, somebody has to be the 5th option. It makes more sense to have a good 1st option, a good 2nd option, a good 3rd option, a good 4th option, a good 5th option, right? Compared to just, like, a bunch of 3rd options. Like, 5, 6 3rd options. Because somebody's going to have to take less shots.
I do think, McHale's defense has not been as good as his offensive role expanded. It's like the opposite of Dame. But
that just reeks of a team that's like 14th on both ends of the court.
Yeah, but like I do think he could apply some of the things he's learned as being the number 1 option to, coming in and being on a team where he can focus more on defense and also get maybe a little bit more efficient shots. But I mean, it's hard to say that without him being in that situation.
I just don't trust Chauncey though. Like, okay, so we're going to have McHale, and we're going to have Ayton, and we're going to have, Sharp, and he's our guy, but we're probably still going to spam 8 to 10 Jeremy Grant ISOs a game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and he's going to shoot a BS fadeaway mid-range, or a shot at the rim against 3 people. Like, that's my worry with this, is just, there's just not enough ceiling. There's not enough ceiling. I'm okay with an aggressive move if it raises the ceiling. I don't like that. I do not like that.
The only thing I would say is the wild card would be, and I'm saying this is a humongous if, so don't think I'm thinking this is a chance of happening. But if Robert Williams was healthy, and you basically had 7 rotation spots with Scoot, Sharp, Ant, McHale, Grant, Ayton, and Robert Williams. That's that's the start of a really good rotation. All you need to do is find maybe 1 or 2 or have someone step up into there, but
it's not good enough defensively. It's just not good enough defensively. Like,
obviously want a Scooter. Yeah, you're
investing a lot in 3 young guards who struggle defensively. Okay, you got Jeremy Grant, who is an overrated defender. He's average at best. You got Ayton, who's a solid defender, but not like a top 5, probably not a top 10 rim protector in the league. Like, he's above average defensively for a big man, but that's it. Okay? So, like, what's up?
I don't know if he's even that. I think he's a little...
Maybe I'm being nice, but Even if
He's just not really a huge factor on defense either way, positive or negative, in my opinion.
You're putting everything on McHale and a big man who can't stay healthy.
And a coach who hasn't showed any ability to coach schemes or anything.
Yeah, like, and offensively, you don't know who the guy is. And like, what happens when Ayton starts getting less shots because you got a lot of guys that can take shots? Is he gonna pout then? Like, I don't know, dude. It's just so messy.
Here's why you don't have to worry, though. I mean, Cronin can have that be his plan, but we know how good he is at executing his plans. So.
I kind of had this feeling before, but just this conversation has solidified it for me. I have a huge gut feeling that Mikal Bridges is going to be somehow in a Blazer uniform next season.
Maybe. What if we just massively overpay for him?
That's my gut feeling.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, we have to if we trade Brogdon for him. You know, like, we have to attach
we get a pick for Brogdon, and then we trade, like, the 4th pick and the 13th pick, or the 15th pick, or wherever the Golden State pick is, and the talking points...
Do we get a pick for Brogdon right now? Like, I don't even know if teams are giving us a pick for him.
Maybe we just use that as matching salary and say, okay, you play him till the deadline, and then you trade him at the deadline. You know, that's your value, right? I don't know. But regardless, like... I can already hear the narratives. We got a guy that fits in perfectly with our young core. We got a guy who can take us to another level and make us competitive, while still fitting our young timeline.
There's a Chauncey guy.
A Chauncey guy. This draft wasn't that good anyway. I don't think Cronin would outright say it, but all his cronies would. Okay? This draft wasn't good anyway. McHale is better than... anybody you could have drafted with those draft picks. That would be the talking points.
Yeah.
If he trades 4 firsts for him, people will justify it. All the people that said, you guys weren't ready for a rebuild, will say Cronin's a genius if he trades like 4 or 5 first-round picks for McHale.
Yeah.
So, I just want to rebuild.
I still love Mikal Bridges too, so like this is hard for me to say.
I love Mikal.
That this trade would be horrible. He's one of my favorite players. That's not a Blazer.
Mm-hmm.
But
nothing to do with anything against him at all. Yeah, I like him. It's just you gotta commit to a direction. That's the problem. We never did. We never committed to building a winner around Dame. We got stuck in the middle. If you don't commit to a direction, you get stuck in the middle, unless you get extremely, extremely lucky. And that's been my biggest fear from this rebuild from the jump. And I just... This organization is cheap. This organization doesn't like that viewership is down 50 to 60%. This ownership wants to sell tickets.
But some of that's their own problem. Like, that's their own fault for having...
Exactly. It's all byproduct of the direction that they... well, yeah, this is a problem. They can't find the channel, but still, it was the same channel last year, and viewership's down 50 to 60%. Nothing's changed.
Well, it did change because it went to a higher bracket on TV packages, right. So a lot of people aren't paying the extra $20 a month to get it, so they can't even watch it if they wanted to.
Yeah, Eric. The whole point is though all the stuff that they don't like right now is a byproduct of choosing a rebuild.
Yeah.
So if you choose this route, you gotta embrace the struggle.
But that's exactly why I feel like they're just approaching it so wrong. If you're gonna make that tough decision, fine, but like then go all in with that decision to build around Scoot and a young core and stuff. Like just go all in with that. That's to like dilly-dally and try to be Houston or whatever. Like it just makes no sense, man.
No, I mean even some of the cronies are saying, yeah, the Blazers are for sure not keeping the Golden State pick. They're for sure trading it. So there's the seeds. I mean,
Well, we're gonna at this rate have to attach it to like Matisse,
yeah.
Robert Williams, just to get rid of their contract.
This offseason is going to be so interesting. I'm looking forward to it, even if it could be. I mean, having McHale in a Blazer uniform would be fun because I like McHale. Okay, but my goodness, man, like it's just they set us up. They're just so directionless that we always have to criticize them for a lack of direction. And then we're the negative guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's just embrace it. We will praise you over the littlest things if you just embrace a direction. Oh, you played repair 12 minutes today. Let's go. You had a lottery grade on him and you played him in a rebuild. Good job.
We didn't talk about that. Apparently he's available to play, but it's not going to play. Like, what?
Yeah. He's available, but not really.
So he's not available? Like what?
Yeah, but he is though.
No, he's available, but he's not.
But he's not. No, not really.
No, yeah.
Kinda. Like if 5 players got hurt, he could play. But he's hurt too.
But he can't play.
But he's available. No, he's available. No. PR said. But no, the crony said he ain't. So then I got people tweeting at me to follow a beat writer. Okay. Oh, phenomenal stuff. Anyway, we can pick this conversation back up on the next postgame show. This is why, even though we're tanking, you should not miss postgame shows. There's so many things to talk about.
The frustrating part for me is we know this crap is going to happen, right? And then when we're mad that we saw this coming and talked about it for months, it happening, like, for example, the moves they're making are going to lead to Dame being pushed out because of things that happen, or when you get hard capped by signing Gary Payton and those kind of things. And we get like, just really kind of hamstrings them salary cap wise for the entire season by doing this. Why can't you guys just be positive about this great signing? He's a champion and all this stuff. You know what I mean? But we try to.
It's all the people that said we have too many 6'2" guards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the thing. Like, okay, you guys wanted less 6'2" guards, but you're embracing another 6'2" guard. What are we doing? So, anyway, yeah.
But it happens every time. It's like, well, Cronin's going to show you guys, just like the ticket person told my mom,
He doesn't need to show us anything other than just like going down the path he's going down.
Yeah.
If you're going to go down super duper win now path, then keep going down that path and actually do things to stay on that path. If you're going to go rebuild.
Yeah.
Just pick a lane, bro. Pick a freaking lane.
So all the people who, because now there's several people on record, and I know they're not going to do this, but they've all said, "Oh, don't worry if Brogdon's not traded this summer, and if Cronin doesn't get good value, we're gonna rip Cronin, and he's gonna start to get criticized from us." Like they're all saying that right now, right? But if we give up like 4 firsts and Brogdon for McHale, they'll be like, "See, that's why we couldn't trade Malcolm, like because we got Mikal Bridges out of him this summer,
It's always gonna be something. It's always gonna be something. So it's always gonna be something.
But that's one of the reasons why we have the reactions we do when we get so pissed off. It's because we literally talk about it on the show, and then it happens, and we're just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, why?"
We've always set the standard before we criticize something.
Right.
And we've always said, okay, they do this, or this, or this, or this, and it's not unrealistic stuff like some people try and say, right? Mm-hmm. I'm asking for Joe Cronin to just be patient. Literally, that's the only standard for him. Draft well and be patient and, like, get something for Brogdon. That is not unrealistic expectations, right? So we sit here, we say, well, we happy with this, we happy with this, we happy with this, okay? But if they do something like this, it's going to piss us off. And then they go do something like that, and then it's, you guys are going to be pissed off anyway. No, we set the standard before every transactional period. We always set the standard. So, listen, we'll see. It's going to be fun. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing how we feel in 3 months, So
this is why it always comes back to this for me. The Blazers organization proves time and time again that they care more about being just good enough than really doing what it takes to be a championship team. Because a championship team, I don't know, I went solo camp, but a championship team would not worry as much about the fans' viewership and all that kind of stuff as long as they were heading in the right direction of a championship. For example, as Elizabeth Allen points out in chat, I think it would be freaking awesome if a year from now we're like right in this position where we are talking on post-game shows about having a legit chance at Flagger Bailey. And that could truly make the difference between being a mediocre team and a championship level team with this core. But they're not going to be this bad for another whole year, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up this stream.
Yeah.
First,
I need to go to bed.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. There's actually something I want to look at on BetUS regarding the Blazers' potential off-season plans.
Ooh.
So, here's a quick word from BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
Okay, so you don't see the top of this, okay? But this is odds for Bronny James's team next year if he enters the draft, okay? And your Portland Trail Blazers are plus 4,000.
Yeah.
Plus 4,000. Listen, if you're going after Mikal, you might as well go after LeBron and draft Bronny, right? I mean, if this team is really that desperate to put butts in seats, Eric, and sell tickets, I would not be shocked for them to make a play for Bronny James. Plus 4,000, I think, is actually great odds on BetUS.
When I did the BetUS video, I specifically mentioned that. I was like, well, Portland has 2 early second round picks. If they're trying to be good, why not take a flyer on Bronny and see if you can talk LeBron to coming to town?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did it with a freaking Golden State pick if they really want LeBron, So, yeah. And then the Nike connection, like they can maybe make some waves there, right? Especially they could still trade for Mikal and then sign LeBron to a minimum. I assume LeBron would go here for a minimum just to play with Bronny because he really wants to play with Bronny. I mean, listen, if that would be wild. I could not complain about that as a content creator if we got Mikal and LeBron and Bronny.
So off the bench, we got Scoot, Bronny, Grant, and Robert Williams.
Wait, you said Scoot who?
Scoot, Bronny, Grant, and Robert Williams coming off the bench.
Well, we still got so who are we starting? We're starting Mikal and LeBron and Jeremy and Ayton and...
No, I said Grant off the bench.
Oh, Grant off the bench. Yeah. Grant off the bench. I was thinking Williams, Grant Williams, Jeremy Grant. I don't know.
Grant Williams.
Yeah, maybe we get Grant Williams.
Robert Williams and Jeremy Grant would be our backup 4-5.
Yeah, dude, phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. I mean, finally built a winner in Portland. But I legitimately, plus 4,000 is insane money. If you get a 125% sign-up bonus, which BetUS is offering you guys 3 of, so you can take advantage of that with March Madness right around the corner, That's basically $125 on top of your $100 deposit. So that's $225. You put that down plus $4,000. You could win freaking, what, $8,500? I believe that was like $9,000, somewhere in that range, like $8,000 to $9,000 with the $100 deposit if the Blazers draft Bronny. I mean, that's kind of insane.
Still think that Cleveland bet at plus 900 is pretty good.
Oh, plus 900 Cleveland makes sense. I mean, these are teams that would be in play for LeBron for sure. But yeah, you can get in on this action if you want to bet the Blazers. If you think the Blazers might be bold and go after Bronny to try and get LeBron, which, I mean, this organization is shameless enough to do so. They want to put butts in seats and get people to watch TV. I mean, what better way than to do this?
What if they drafted Bronny, but were like right up against the tax and refused to sign LeBron because they didn't want to be a tax?
They wouldn't draft Bronny.
No, I know. No, they really thought Bronny was like the next LeBron.
Okay. Time to look at other odds because I don't know what you're talking about. We got games for tomorrow. Suns play at the Hornets, second out of a back-to-back. Maybe that's a game that the Hornets can steal, but you can get in on spread lines for any of the NBA games tomorrow. You can also bet various things in these games. And also March Madness right around the corner. You can't really bet on as many conference tournaments, actually only one, Ivy League, which is always fun because it's just the best 4 teams. You can bet on the Ivy League tournament if you want, but March Madness right around the corner, so you might as well sign up for BetUS using our link in the description box below and use promo code JOIN125 for 3 deposit matches up to $2,500. That's 125% on those matches, minimum $100 deposit, and get in on March Madness action because that's going to be a lot of fun. So check out BetUS. Thank you to them for sponsoring the post-game stream. Alrighty, Eric. Anything else for this one?
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Next post-game show will be Saturday evening. I think it's like a 5 o'clock game or something.
We're going on the road. Oh, these shows are going to be so early. No, it's Saturday evening. The game starts at 4.
4 on Saturday, so...
I might be watching college basketball in the middle of our post-game show, not going to lie.
Yeah, post-game show will be around 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish.
Might be a little shorter, because I just want to watch college basketball, not going to lie.
Right. So that's the next one. Hope to see you all there. If you're interested in hearing more about us talking about the interview Casey Holdall had with Dwayne Hankins about renovations and the team's future and all that kind of stuff, go check out the second channel, Blazers Uprise, live for that show earlier today.
Yeah, I'll drop the link in the live chat as well if you guys want to go watch that. You can just scroll to the point after picks against the spread if you wish and listen to our thoughts on that. And with that being said, that's a wrap for this post-game show. Once again, shout out to BetUS and shout out to Mansa Sleep Mask. You can get a Mansa Sleep Mask by using promo code UPRISE to get 10% off your order so you can have a good night's sleep. Given that this stream is wrapping up at 12:22 in the morning, so if you have a Mansa Sleep Mask, put that thing on, get some sleep. And we appreciate you guys tuning in, staying with us here on this late night post-game show. The Blazers lose 105-93 against the Knicks. It might be officially tank season until the offseason, and then it's officially play-in season? Who knows with this organization. But the Blazers now go on a road trip, 7-game road trip. Oh, no, that's later in the month. They come home and play at home. A few home games before that road trip in late March, but they got a little mini road trip here. They play at New Orleans, at Chicago, come back home and play at home versus the Clippers next week and Denver. So the schedule is tightening up there, Eric, and maybe that's why it's officially tank season now. So anyway, we appreciate you guys. And with that being said, we're out of here. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.